Namaste. Thank you for joining me today. We are going to practice a sun salutation in an improvised way using blocks and a chair. Let us begin. Notice that I have two tall blocks at the front end of my mat, and you are welcome to find other props that might substitute. A chair substitutes very well. Bring your hands to your heart. Step your feet underneath your sitting bones. You're welcome to bring your feet together, and that will give you a little bit more of a balanced challenge. Lift your gaze. Lengthen your front spine. Notice the anchoring of your back body, which represents your past. Feel your heart and mind open, willing to embrace the future. Notice your mind's eye now present. Give your practice an intention. Let us begin. As you inhale, lift your arms, turn the palms slightly back. Lengthen the front body all the more. Reach into your inner heels and out through the crown of the head. And as you exhale, come and fold. Keep a micro bend of the knees. We are aiming to fold all the way down, continuing to lengthen the front spine. And what you can do, if you would like an in-between sort of place, a set of stepping stones, is to take the blocks ahead and to minimize a deep fold if that is more for you today. But with time and practice, you may decide that coming into a deeper fold is welcomed by your body. Using the floor, catching your elbows, catching hold of the back of the legs to draw yourself into this fold any amount more. These are just some opportunities in Uttanasana, the standing forward bend. As you inhale, extend. You can use your hands at your shins. You can use your hands at your blocks. But here the action is to lengthen the front spine all the more, to reach into the inner heels and up through the sitting bones. As you are ready, step your right leg back. Notice I turned my blocks lower. To accommodate that, I want to travel into this lunge. You are welcome to keep the back heel at the floor if that is more useful to you, but that you are aiming to this nice long low lunge. Trying not to hang off the front of the hip. With those hip flexor muscles, keep a sense of lift, engage the core. Let your hands and your feet take on your weight. Decide the height of your blocks. Tall blocks here might have too much of a wobble effect. And as you exhale next, step the front leg to the back leg. I am aiming to keep my shoulders over my wrists, so I rocked forward just a little bit. Bending in the elbows, I'm going to sneak into my upward facing dog, and so I'm going to shift the pelvis well ahead of the upper arm bones. You are welcome to aim top of the feet toward the floor, really drawing yourself forward and up the blocks. Make it a little kinder on your wrists and on your shoulders. Allowing you to explore and build time in your space here in your upward dog, and then core muscles guide you into that downward facing dog. As you inhale, lengthen. Front spine lengthens. The hands and the feet push the floor. The sitting bones reach up and back. More space in those two lines of energy. With the next inhalation, lift your head and look ahead. Step the right leg forward. And we're aiming back to between the hands. And I want to address a question that I have quite often from students, to say, I step that foot forward and I don't get very far. And so They will do one of two things. They will pick up the foot and help it along, and that's just as well. Or they will adjust with some taller blocks to make room for that knee to swing forward. But just in case along the way this might work for you, another way to manage is to draw that foot in and then slide the blocks back or your hands back and then wiggle back. When you're ready, exhale, slide the back leg to the front leg. And at first, please extend. Again, whether you use your shins or the floor or the blocks. Front spine is lengthening. Notice I have a micro bend of the knees. Exhale and fold down. Remember, in the standing forward bend, there are many different opportunities for leverage, whether we use the blocks, catch the elbows, hold the legs, and continue to draw ourselves in, any or all of that. And then inhale and swing the arms forward and up into Utkatasana, this mighty pose. Coming to extension, any amount more. Hands then to the heart, returning to that mountain pose and the opportunity to feel the effectiveness of the first part. Let's repeat. Inhale and lift. Exhale and fold with this intention to extend the spine, to create space, to really lengthen, to not collapse. And as you get to Uttanasana, to find your way in it, to keep asking for variety. As you inhale, extend. Front spine lengthens to active lines of energy. As you exhale, step the left leg back and notice that I went ahead and set my blocks into this medium height position. Wonderful. My front shin, outer knee presses into the inner arm and the arm resists, and it continues to allow the activation, the engagement of the back body so that the front body continues to broaden. As you exhale, stepping the front leg to the back leg. Get your bearings. Come over your hands with your shoulders. Decide about the amount of upward facing dog. What your feet are going to do. You can keep one propped up even and do a push-pull. It works. More control. And as you exhale, come into your downward facing dog, pushing away the floor, taking advantage of the releases along the way that give towards more space, more spaciousness. Inhale, lift your head and look ahead. Step the left leg forward. Take your time, make your adjustments. And again, resisting the outer leg to the inner arm, broadening across the collarbones, reaching into that inner back heel. So many ways to think about leverage, action within the alignment. Stepping the back leg to the front leg. At first, please extend. And then exhale and fold down. Let your head truly hang. If your fold is deep, then look up to your navel. Let the back of the neck really lengthen. And as you inhale, lift your head, bend in the knees, come into Utkatasana. Allow time here. Many great things happen. It is not just the building process of strength, blood volume shifts. You get your bearings, using a focal point is what your nervous system will automatically do. And then we come up with a little bit of exhilaration, feeling long and strong. We have one more part to our warm-up in this
intermediate sort of use of a sun salutation. So often my students ask about using a sun salutation as a warm-up, and I think it is missing just one piece, and that is a twist. We are all unique in what we do, how our body takes on or has capacity for mobility, and where we are strong already in our body, where we are needing to build strength. But this particular twist is rather safe and it allows you to be in charge of you. Notice I am using a chair. You can use a countertop. We could have continued to use the blocks, but I wanted to give you an opportunity to be a little bit higher in your body. So I'm going to step one leg forward and the other leg back, and we'll take on this preparation for a revolved triangle. At first, in this hip hinging, I'm going to come and fold and place my hands in the seat of the chair. And again, we could have used tall blocks. We could put our hands at the wall and have a very similar effect. But the leverage that this chair will give us will add a little bit of strengthening. What you'll decide is the distance between your feet while the back heel is anchoring, squaring the pelvis, reaching into the inner heels very lightly, light action. And my left leg is the front leg, which means that my right arm will slide further ahead. And if I wanted to use the chair for leverage, I could catch the back of the seat of the chair, I could catch the side, I could catch the top, and it will just depend on the shape and the height of the back of your chair relative to the length of your frame, the length of your bones. Then you'll need to decide how much you need to back away so that you really access traction. So here the traction is for the wrist, the elbow, shoulder, and the spine especially. The bottom hand gets to push, the top hand gets to pull. That is typically the action in most twists. But we're using this push-pull here, and especially with the use of the chair, to create space in the spine. And it just so happens that we get to create space through the shoulder girdle. It feels good on the shoulder. But if I kept my head neutral, that means my head is aligning with where my shoulders are. I have such a subtle twist here. So that keeps it especially safe. And that means we can take on potentially more, and you can explore your way through it. You can walk your hand to the center of the chair, and that guides the upper rib cage into a little bit more rotation. You can keep on coming, and all of this increased rotation comes with the leverage that provides traction still. It doesn't have to be any more than that. So creating this variety of places to push and pull from then creates a variety of places to build strength. Put your hands back in the seat of the chair, bend in the front knee, lift the back heel, rock between these two places of lifting the front foot, anchoring the back heel, bending in the front knee, coming into this lunge. We get to strengthen the ankles and shift weight through different areas of the pelvis and the femur head. We get to use the shifting of weight to challenge wrists and shoulders, elbows, taking on the weight coming into the upper body. And a few repetitions here. Again, you are in charge of just how much to give your hands and how much to give your feet. When you're ready for change, step the front leg back, the back leg forward, come sit, come stand. And wow, that added significantly to our warm-up. Let's do the other side. So again, I have one leg forward, one leg back, both legs fairly straight. I am standing with my feet hip width apart facing the chair, which means that I am not walking the midline and that I am able to comfortably square the pelvis. So note that for yourself. And as you begin to hip hinge, keep asking heart to lead. As you place your hands down, notice the distance between your feet, what allows you to grow that distance while keeping the back heel at the floor. But then don't let it get away from you. You will want to take the hand that is opposite the front foot. My right foot is the front foot. So my left arm is going to catch the back of the chair. Remember, you can catch the back of the seat of the chair. Find what your shoulders and your wrists, they are happy with. And pause here with this push-pull. Breathe. Feel how there is expansion along the side of the rib cage. Notice where you are creating spaciousness and how the leverage lends itself to being in charge of you. I get to square the pelvis with a little bit more energy, reminding myself to bring the weight lightly to the inner edges of the feet. Notice we're building a little bit of time. There is such a subtle twist here. I can bring my front hand to the midline, my top hand to the midline, and therefore I've taken on just a little bit more twist. And over time with practice in this tractioning effect, you will find that perhaps you are more comfortable coming into a slightly deeper twist, but it is all with traction, space in the spine, because of the actions within the alignment. We are not trying to go as far as we absolutely can in the twist. And I would encourage you to allow your head to stay square with the shoulders so your neck is neutral. As you're ready to come back, bend in the front knee and lift the back heel and begin to rock between those two places. I want to lift the front of the front foot, anchor the back heel, and then shift the weight. I'm not just shifting the weight between the feet, but to the hands a little bit more. You can begin to explore a different position of using your hands with the seat of the chair. Notice how I've turned my palms out, so I have a little bit more external rotation through the front of the shoulder. I can bring my hands to the front of the seat of the chair, and I have even more external rotation because how I've placed the heels of my hands. I can decide to plant my fingers in the top of the palm and let the thumbs drop, and I've alleviated weight on the wrist in case you have a wrist issue that needs that variation. Find your place in it. Spend some time between both of these places, maintaining pelvis square best you can, and then stepping the front leg back, the back leg forward, feet underneath your sitting bones. Push away the chair, inhale and come to expanding the front body, coming into extension any amount more, bringing the hands back to the heart just to feel the effect of time well spent, completing this intention for a warm-up for your practice. Namaste.